Salve te discipuli, this is help for your Latin studies in Henle First Year Latin, exercise number 229. And in this exercise, or just before actually this exercise, we're given some new information about a new ablative of accompaniment, which uses the preposition cum, and it expresses association. So you can think of, if you're using the word with as an ablative of accompaniment, then you would use a Latin word cum for that preposition, but you could think of it as expressing in company with or together with, rather than by means of a sword. And they give us a couple of examples here which are worth looking at. He came with the Roman. In other words, he came in company with the Roman. You would use cum in Latin. Cum Romano venit. Here's another one. The swords are in the camp with the darts. The swords are together with the darts in the camp. So it has that ablative of accompaniment. So gladii in castris cum tellis sunt would be the Latin form. Notice that we use the word cum to express with. But here's another example. He is being killed with a sword. He is not being killed in company with a sword, and he's not being killed together with a sword. He's being killed by means of a sword. So in this case, that word with a sword, that phrase there is an ablative of means. And in Latin, when we have an ablative of means, you may remember, there's no preposition. We simply give the noun in its ablative form. So, and that's largely what exercise 229 gives us practice to do, is each of these sentences use the word with, and we have to discern whether that with is expressing accompaniment or means, and then translate it accordingly. All right, so with that in mind, let's look at number 1. It says, they fought with swords. And since this is an English sentence, I like to parse it first. Who or what is the sentence about? They, that's our subject pronoun. What are being said about they? They fought. So there's our verb. And then we have a prepositional phrase. They fought with swords. So we have a preposition, an object of the preposition. And we have to consider, did they fight in company with swords? Or did they fight by means of swords? And in this context, I would say this is an ablative of means. So we would take this phrase and with the ablative of means, simply give the noun in its ablative form with no preposition. Okay, so let's go ahead and translate it. You'll also remember that often when you have a subject preposition, it's absorbed by the verb, because the verb with its ending expresses person, number, and tense. So let's consider person, number, and tense for they fought. They is the third person plural. And fought is past tense. It's not past and ongoing, it is done. They did it. They fought. It's perfect tense. And the other thing, since we've been working so much with passive voice in the previous exercises leading up to this one, we may have an inclination to just go ahead and say, oh, it must be passive voice. But look, who or what is doing the action? They fought. They is the subject, and the subject is doing the action, which means that this is the active voice. So I have us in our grammar book, turn to page 46, active voice, perfect tense, and we're going to look at third person plural. Make sure that we start with the third principal part for our verb, pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, and then conjugate it to the third person plural. I, isti, it, imis, istis, erant. So we would say pugnaverant is our verb, and that would say they fought. We would put that at the end. Let me go ahead and write it here. pugnaverant. Okay, pugnaverant, and the verb comes last. So let's talk about how we would express by means of swords. No preposition. We're simply going to put our noun in the ablative plural, right? So this will be ablative plural. Our Latin word for sword is gladius, gladii, second declension. So think through those endings. Us, io, o, I, orum, is, os, is. So we would take our stem, gladiis. Gladiis pugnaverant is the final sentence. I hope this has been helpful to you. Have a great day.